All right, everyone. Welcome to the first day of the Work From Home Challenge. I'm Sean Butner, your certified high performance coach, rocking the 6-week quarantine haircut. And what I wanted to do is, if you're joining us, say hi below wherever you're seeing this, either if it's on the webpage that you should have gotten through the email after you signed up, or if you're on our Facebook page. Please just say hi, where you're from. Feel free. We'll just start off with some housekeeping. So feel free to start off with asking any questions you have, any comments. This is live, so there are things that'll happen that we can't control. So please bear with us. This is also the second time that we're running through this, so there's been improvements made from one we did a couple weeks ago, and thank you for your patience and all your comments there. So that said too, let's see, what else do I need to do housekeeping wise? Yeah. Sign up at seanbutner.com/WFHChallenge if you haven't already, if you're seeing this, so you get access to the worksheet that's also on the webpage that will get sent to you every day with the URL for the next live video. So I'm so excited to be here sharing this with you because, when all the quarantine stuff started happening, I realized that, something I could do for free to help people is to gather all the things that I could on working from home, having operated my business from home for about a year now as a certified high performance coach and trainer. As you can see, my glorious bedroom/office behind me is kind of busy, but there's that. So taking all of that knowledge from the past year, and then I started out in technology, so working from home was pretty much part of the gig for the last 13 years before jumping into my coaching business. And I realized that when you work from home, you sometimes have a lot of trouble focusing, or you have a lot of trouble with distractions, or you can get out of your routine because there aren't as set things as meetings, or you have to do the commute to get into work, and it can really impact how productive you are. And I say productive now because, if you're working from home, if you're just stuck at home, it's vitally important for you right now to be thinking about how is my productivity, how's my performance, and productivity and performance in today's age is doing what you can to advance your life and move forward, and it's also managing stress. So somebody said that it's not that you're struggling to be productive right now, it's that you're managing during a worldwide pandemic, so a global calamity. So if you have that perspective that there's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days, there's going to be times where life seems kind of normal, and there's going to be times where it's going to be really stressful, you'll be able to overcome and be more resilient than expecting yourself to be 100% every hour that you're home. It's just not feasible. So with that said, the promise of the Work From Home Challenge is in 1 week, we're going to get you 10 times more productive. And how do we do that? So like I said, I have experience working from home. I'm a certified high performance coach, so I have habits that I instruct my clients and students on how to just, get to their next level of productivity, of influence, of energy, of clarity, of courage, of purpose. So we're taking that experience, we're taking the coaching experience, and I did a deep dive research a couple weeks ago on all the different things that people are saying, like, this is what you need to do when you work from home. And that can be very overwhelming, but it turns out that there are a couple of themes. And so I've boiled those themes down into the habits that we're going to talk about during this next week, and paired it up with some high performance habits too. So we're going to get a 1-2 punch. So it's not going to be like the Time articles or BuzzFeed or whatever, Fortune, Forbes, that have like the list and like this is what you should be doing. So we'll cover that because they did hit some really important things from a high performance standard, but we're also going to reinforce it with some high performance habits. So today we're going to talk about setting up the environment, and there's 3 basic areas that you need to be setting up in order to make sure that you're productive and not stressed at home. Because, again, as a high performance coach, I'm concerned about your performance, And we define it as sustaining past what's ever normal in your life without burning out. And so the more that people are not able to leave, the more this not burning out part's really going to become important, because it's a game of stress management, quite frankly. To not flip the switch and yell at your spouse, yell at the kids, yell at the cat and dog, to be grumpy when you go to the store and not understanding that there's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of anxiety going on, and it's a time to be a little bit compassionate with others, a little bit more than you might normally do. So, okay. That said, again, if you have any questions too, make sure you put them below wherever you're watching this video on Facebook or the webpage. I will check them at the end of the content here. So it's just me managing all this, so there might be screw-ups. Please be patient. And if I don't get to your question on the live cast now, I'll check later this afternoon to make sure I get back to everyone. So please ask your questions. I'd love your feedback on how to make this better, how to make this more awesome, or if there are things that really connect with you, so I know what's going on. So a lot of you took the assessment when you signed up for the challenge, and a lot of you were saying, hey, I'm having a lot of time focusing, I need some help there, or distractions. So it's kind of two sides of the same coin. How do I, really sit down and focus with all the craziness, or how does my cute toddler not, get in the way of me doing the work when I have to do the work? So whatever that is for you, so that's how we're going to talk, that's where we're going with that. So try to getting a little too ahead of myself in my head. So, all right, we got that figured out. So let's get into the 3 different environments you need to be setting up if you're going to efficiently work from home, reduce stress, and be able to sustain this over the long term. Idea number 1 is you need some really good mindsets. You got to get your mind set up, because that's how you perceive events. And it's the difference between a hurdle happening and you spinning out of control and anxiety, depression, and all that stuff, or you saying okay, now I need to get into problem-solving mode to get past this. So on the worksheet, there's a couple of mindsets, but these are more suggestions and things to pay attention to. So as you're thinking about how can I have a strong, positive mindset that'll serve me and help me work and make decisions now in order to build the future that I want, the first idea that we have is to pay attention to that voice in your head. And I know you're not crazy, it's the inner dialogue type thing, but notice where that voice is really coming from. So many people, if you listen and read all the news, you get freaked out, and the voice in your head is oh, there's a lot. I'm afraid. I'm really afraid. And that tends to have you think a little bit more self-centered. It helps you or doesn't help you. It tends to get people to not think of the big picture. You start thinking smaller, and it's not really serving you if that's happening. And there's really different, 3 different types of fear that people deal with, and it's really good to understand those. So the first type of fear most people deal with is process pain, and that is I'm afraid that the process of going through this is going to be painful. So you could think of if you're training for a marathon, the actual training is going to suck so bad that it's not going to be worth it. You're afraid it's going to hurt, and you might not be able to do it. Maybe you'll fail. That's kind of the process pain thing. And so when you think about if you're afraid of just trying to get through the whole process of working from home, whether it's not going to be the same, I'm not going to have the coffee that I have at work, or my family's going to drive me insane, it's going to be crazy. Thing is to focus on what do you get out of the process, or what is worthy in the process. So if you're stuck with your family, that's a lot of extra time that you get to interact with them, to connect with them. So that's a bonus. So yeah, maybe, some people will chew really loudly and you'll hear it every time, no matter where you are in the house. But you can also say, well, I got to like read with my kids. I got to, talk with my wife during breaks during the day. And so there's some opportunity there. And so trying to pull your mind into that if you're feeling that type of process pain. The second type of thing is outcome pain. So meaning that you're going to do all this work right now, trying to build your future, trying to stay stressful, but in the end, it's not going to matter, right? So grass is greener on the other side is the common phrase there. So if you're afraid that the outcome isn't going to be what you want it to be and make the whole exercise not worth it, then think about, again, what do you gain by working now, by working on your dream, by dreaming big? There's so many people, again, are in that fear kind of mindset, and it's pulling them in. And so how can you dream bigger, dream bolder, really start to think, what are your priorities right now? What are things that you can work on? What are things that you can do right now? How can you help, like those type of things in order to get over that? And the third type of pain, or third type of fear that people generally have is lost fear. So by doing this, I'm missing out on that. And this is a really big one working from home. It's if I don't work 15 hours, I'm going to, be seen as a slacker working from home. If I don't, or if I focus on work, I'm going to ignore my family, and it's not going to matter that I'm actually home. So I won't have that time to connect, or I'm going to, get so distracted by family or Netflix and 90 Day Fiance that, I'm going to really screw up my work. And the thing to realize there is you have a lot more opportunity to mix different areas of your life. So your work, your career, your relationships, and your well-being. Like, since you're not commuting, since, you can basically set up your schedule at home, and we'll get more into that later this week, you have a lot more opportunity to kind of work an hour or two on your career, spend a couple of hours with the kids, helping them learn, helping them grow, spend, some extra time working out. You get to go for a walk out in the sun during the day a little bit longer because you've shaved off a couple hours of your commute. Like when I was commuting down to Apple, right now I'm in Berkeley, that was like a 2.5 hour trip each way with all the traffic. So working from home freed up 5 hours each day to do other things, like talk to my wife, or, actually start to work out again because I put on a little bit of weight that I did not like. So, not liking this haircut. Anyways, so, stupid. So, that kind of stuff. You have opportunities. This is live, guys. To actually add some things into your schedule that maybe you wouldn't have been able to before. So pay attention to that voice in your head. Is it operating out of fear like that? Is it bold? Is there anxiety? Is there scarcity or abundance? And ask yourself the question, if your self-talk was more positive, what would it be telling you, right? And I leave that open-ended because it's going to be different for everyone, but that's a very powerful question. So I hope you take a note on that, and you do some journaling on that earlier. The second mindset is, this is a huge opportunity for learning. So if you have that student's mindset that, you're going to be experimenting with your home setup, how this all kind of comes together. Again, we'll give you some guidelines going forward in the sessions here during the week. But, now's the time to say, how can I figure this out? And not that I'm getting this wrong. Because again, to remind you, we're all just managing the best we can in a world crisis. So, there's going to be days where your productivity is awesome, and there's going to be other days when it's wrecked. And you don't know what's going to cause that sometimes. But it's the intent and effort to show up every day and say, okay, I'm just going to do the best that I can, that will keep you moving forward and keep you and your long-term success on point. So, All right, so student's mindset, you always want to be learning. There are no mistakes. It's just a list of things you know not to do in the future. The third thing to realize and have the third mindset to have is the struggle is real. So there's, like I said, there's going to be ups and downs. It's, you can't get around it. So, just be aware that that stuff will happen again. And we've already kind of talked about this in the other 2 points, but stuff will come up. It's okay. It's part of there's two basic things in humanity. There's struggle and progress. So you can't have progress without the struggle. And then progress usually causes struggle. So you we're always going back and forth between those two. So just know that when you come up with those struggles, it's your ability to go, okay, how do we figure a way out of this? What's the best way out? And then not getting stuck in analyzing it, but like trying stuff so that you learn and you can say, I know how to do this or not. That will serve you really well. The fourth mindset to think about is, how would your best self show up right now? And, how do you need to show up for your family? How do you need to show up for your coworkers or team? How do you need to show up for your community? How do you want to show up for yourself so that you feel proud? Because again, you see stuff on the news, or maybe you see it in your community when you go out, but some people are just cruddy, and you can't control that, but you don't want to be that person. You don't want to be the person that's screaming at a grocery worker because they can't find their thing because everything's out. And you can empathize that that's probably coming out of fear, but or anxiety is something like that. But we need to treat each other with some type of we're in this together, right? It's going to take all of us working together to help untangle and get everything back to normal. So that's kind of what I mean. So how would your best self show up when you're out in the community getting groceries, when you're working, when you're interacting with your family? And what do you need to do to take care of that too? I think that's a really good question. So if you're stuck at home and the kids are leaving toys everywhere and it's driving you nuts, go for a walk, go work out, take care of yourself so that your best self shows up. All right. Fifth mindset is to think that working from home is holistic. So you have a huge opportunity here working from home, and whether you're just starting out or you've been doing it for a while, to really effectively mesh. It used to be that you had your work life and your home life, and they're supposed to be separate, a very definitive line, 50, 60 years ago. And with technology that blends, and so that could be, again, you can do work, you can work out, you can engage with your kids, you can, do all these different things and from different parts of your life, all kind of mixed up together. And the downside of that is that everything's kind of blended. So the temptation to, not have a 9 to 5, that you're working, 16-hour days because you're just at home by yourself trying to I got to make sure this all gets done, can really wreck the rest of your lives, and it's not sustainable. That's how you burn out. So don't do that. Okay. That's the mindsets. Again, it's, pay attention to the voice in your head, have a student's mindset, realize that the struggle is real. How would your best self show up? And then working from home is holistic. The other 2 points that I have for you on setting up environments is your space. It's really good to have a dedicated desk that you're working from home. You want to make sure that your place is kind of tidy. And I have some resources below if you need some help with that. But we don't realize sometimes that the messiness around us really does drain on our mind. And it's a lesson that I'm constantly relearning. So we just rearranged our space, our living room, and I've been keeping my desk a lot more clean. I've been stuck in front of it for 6 weeks now, I think. We've been sheltering in place. So those little things do matter, and they matter to your motivation. They matter to how you can think. A messy space, a messy mind type deal. So definitely take care of that. Have some rituals to get set for the day where you have all your supplies coming along. And then, where you work, like when you work from home, you can work by windows. You can have the windows open so you have fresh air. That connection to the outside can become really important and really motivating. So not only paying attention to where you're sitting with natural light and fresh air, but if behind your computer, if you work at a computer, is like trees and stuff, nature, something beautiful, something you like to look at, that'll also be helpful. We don't usually think of behind the screen because we're staring at the screen, but I think that's a really good motivation. And then just knowing, like, can you do background noise? Can you do music? Can you do the TV? Is it going to distract you? Podcasts, how does that work? Sometimes that background noise, like having worked from home, I would operate out of coffee shops a lot, and having that background, like coffee making sounds and glasses clinking and people talking, sometimes can help you get focused. So I like music, but everyone's different. So check that out. So yeah, just think about how can you, one, have a dedicated spot? How do you make it a place that you enjoy going to? Those are the two big ideas. Consistent place you work, and is it something that helps spur you forward? All right. And then final point is technology, right? So what tech are you using to work from home? If you're new to it, there's a couple of different categories that you probably want to think through. You probably want a couple of apps that are helpful. There's video conferencing setup. So like for me, I have a podcaster microphone. I have some lights to make it look a little bit more professional. I really would love to have a blank wall. There's not one in my space, but it's not the worst background. You can see like through the mirror over here that the bed's made. So paying attention to kind of your background is important there. For instant messaging, it can be really helpful if you're working with teams. So Slack, GChat, Facebook Messenger, probably the most popular. If you are working with a company, just use whatever they suggest. That's probably the best. But if you are on a team and you haven't really thought about that, any one of those would be really good. And then helpful hardware for working from home is, I have a second monitor. That's like key, especially like with a laptop, having that extra screen space for all the courses and stuff that I do, like that helps. Maybe like a selfie stick or a box like this. My laptop right here for this live cast is on this like red box. I think it's a Beats headphone box, so that the camera's about eye level. So that's the thing with video conferencing. You want it to be about eye level. One, for ergonomics. Two, it's a better angle than looking like down at people or whatever. So definitely check that out. So I have a couple of that stuff on the worksheet on the page. So all right, three things to think about is positive mindset, set up your space. What tech are you using? If you have your favorites, please share them below. Before we wrap up with the challenge, I'm going to see if there's any questions. Not seeing it on Facebook. Not seeing it on the chat roll. So, okay. No questions so far. All right. So here is your day one challenge from the work from home challenge. I need to work on the wording for that. So take a picture of, tidy up your space, take a picture of it and post it on the Facebook group or on social, wherever, with hashtag work from home challenge. Let's see if I can get boom with that little tag on the lower left of your screen there. That'll totally help. Some things to so we talked about a lot today. If there was one thing I would say you definitely want to get set is get your space, your consistent space tidy and ready to go. So, for me, I have a desk that I always work. I have all my supplies and stuff here. have it, small piles, but it's not too messy. So take a picture of your space and post it on the Facebook group. I'll do that later today so you guys can see, what I'm working with. You probably already saw it if you went to and signed up for the challenge. So, yeah, do that. Engage in the community. If you have questions, please help. Remember, this is holistic. Again, so we're talking about your productivity, but your productivity is also your stress management. So it's making peace with the family and everyone at home, as well as it is being productive on whatever you're working on towards your future. And this is also a really great chance to be thinking about, what am I working on? Is it actually helping me build to the future that I want? And so, because if you're working with that purpose, with that, oh, this is going to matter, especially when things kick up after the whole thing, then, that'll set you up for later success. So, okay. This video will be on the Facebook group and on the webpage for about a week, probably 8 days. Then I'll take it down. If you guys want to keep the worksheets and the videos, I want to let you know that check your emails. I don't have the link handy right now, which is something I'll remedy for tomorrow. But I have for $1, you can keep all of the Work From Home Challenge videos and the worksheets for life. You also will get the Start Your Month with a Coach program. And this is if you're wanting to continue your education and personal development after the challenge. So you have all these habits down, they're humming along, and you're like, well, I need that extra push, that extra challenge, that extra cheerleading to make sure that I maintain my productivity. That's a monthly video course with the worksheet, kind of similar to this, but spaced out more. That usually runs $37 a month. So you'll get the first month of that as a trial, and these videos for free. And if you try the Start Your Month with a Coach and you don't like it, you just ask to cancel your subscription. You get to keep these videos. So it's a really great deal. Just wanted to bring that up to you in case you miss a video or in case you want to keep these for forever. So check your emails. I'll get that ready for tomorrow. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I'll check for questions one more time before we sign off. Super pumped to be doing this for you. Facebook. Again, not seeing any questions. Okay, guys. Well, be well. Take care of each other. And tomorrow, we're going to be talking about creating your schedule. So how can you really get disciplined and putting some structure in your day so that it doesn't get away from you? A lot of people in the last challenge responded really well to it. They really loved this idea of structuring your day at home. So it's helped so many people. I know it'll help you. I know you guys will love it. So can't wait to share that with you. See you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time on day 2 of the Work From Home Challenge, guys. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.